Hi, welcome back. Today we are going to go over partitive word problems. These problems are a little bit different than our equal share and measurement problems. Our equal share problems means we're taking a whole and we are splitting it into equal size groups. We want to know what the size of the group is. The measurement problems tells us the size of each group, but we want to know how many groups we can make. So these partitive problems are a little bit different, and I like to start them off by modeling. So a car has 13.5 gallons of gas in its tank. If this is 3/5 of the total gas it can hold, how much gas can the car hold? So I'm just going to draw a model here. And we know that the amount of gas that's given to us, this 13.5, represents 3/5 of the total amount of gas. So if I split the 13.5 into 3 groups, that'll tell me how much goes into each box, right? Then I can multiply that amount by 5, and that will tell us how much is in a full tank of gas. So really what we're doing here is we are taking our 13.5 and dividing it by 3/5. Okay, so we're going to change our mixed number, 13.5, into an improper fraction. 2 times 13 is 26, plus 1 is 27. So that's 27 halves. We're going to change that division to multiplication and flip it over. Oh, that should be a 3. And we're going to cross reduce if we can. 3 and 27 are both divisible by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 27 divided by 3 is 9. So now we're going to multiply across. 9 times 5 is 45. And 2 times 1 is 2. 2 goes into 45 22 times. And we have 1 left over. So it's 22.5 gallons. And that makes sense that our answer is bigger than what we started with, because this 13.5 represents part of the gas tank. Just about half, right? Because 3/5 is close to a half. So if I double the 13.5, it's about 26.27. So this 22.5 makes sense. All right, let's go on to number 2 here. Miss Nagy used 4 1/5 cups of flour to make cookies. If this is 3/7 of the flour she has, how much flour did she have? Again, I'm going to draw a quick little diagram here to show what operation we should be doing. Okay, so we have 7 pieces. I'm going to shade in 3 of them. And this 3/7 represents 4 1/5 cups. So what does that mean? I can take my 4 1/5, divide it into 3 equal sections. That would tell me how much goes into each box. And then we can multiply by 7 to fill up that whole box. So really, that's the same thing as saying 4 1/5 divided by 3/7. And you can do one piece at a time here and try it out. 4 1/5 divided by 3, or multiplying by 1/3, and then multiplying it by 7. Just noticed I wrote a 5 down on the bottom there. It should be by 7. Okay, we're going to change that mixed number to an improper fraction. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 1 is 21. So we have 21 over 5. And we're going to change the division to multiplication, flip the second fraction over. And I notice we can cross-reduce the 21 and the 3. Both are divisible by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 21 divided by 3 is 7. So in the numerator, 7 times 7 is 49. And 5 times 1 is 5. 49 divided by 5 is 9, and we'd have 4 remainder. So we have 9 4/5 cups of flour that we started with. And again, that number makes sense because 3/7 is just less than half. So if I double the amount of flour we have here to figure out how much total flour there is, I know it's going to be more than 8. So 9 4/5 seems appropriate. Number 3, Miss Smith ate 2 1/4 granola bars on Monday. 3.5 granola bars on Tuesday, and 1 3/4 granola bars on Wednesday. If this is 3/4 of the granola bars in her pantry, how many granola bars did she have in her pantry? So first of all, we have to add up all the granola bars that she ate. Right, so we're going to add 2 1/4 plus 3.5 plus 1 3/4. Right, so right away I notice I can group together the 1/4 and the 3/4 to make a whole, plus the 2 and 1, that makes 4. All right, so we have 4 plus 3.5. That's 7.5 granola bars that she ate all together, and that represents 3/4 of all the granola bars in her pantry. So we're going to take our 7.5, we're going to divide that by 3, and that would tell us how much goes into each of these sections. Then we can multiply it by 4 to figure out how much the whole is. That's really the same thing as 7.5 divided by 3/4. All right, so 7.5 is the same thing as 15 halves, because 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. Then we're going to divide by 3/4. We cannot divide straight across here because 2 divided by 4 is a half, or 0.5. So that doesn't work here. So we're going to keep the first fraction as is, change the division to multiplication, and flip the second fraction over. From here I am going to cross reduce. 3 divided by 3 is 1, 15 divided by 3 is 5, 2 divided by 2 is 1, 4 divided by 2 is 2. So we have 5 times 2, which is 10, and 1 times 1 is 1. I'm going to leave that 1 off in the denominator, so that means she had 10 granola bars in her pantry. Number 4, Hamid ate 4.5 clementines last week. If this is 3/4 of the clementines that he has at home, how many clementines does he have at home? Excuse me. So if you'd like to continue drawing the models, you can keep drawing that. I'm just going to take the total amount of clementines, shouldn't say total, how much he ate, that's what we're going to start with, and then the part that it represents is what we divide by. So we're going to take our 4.5 and divide it by 3/4. 4.5 is the same as 9 halves, and I'm going to change the division to multiplication. We're going to flip the second fraction over. So we can cross reduce here, or we can multiply straight across. It's 36/6, which is the same thing as 6. So that means he had 6 clementines at home. Number 5, Miss Nagy made apple pie with 12 3/4 cups of apples. If this is 3/5 of the amount of apples she has, how many cups of apple does she have? So we're going to start with the actual amount, 12 3/4 cups, and we're going to divide that by what portion it represents, the 3/5. That's always how it goes. Whatever fraction or mixed number goes with the units, that's the number we're starting with, and the part that it represents is always what we divide by. Okay, so we're going to change our 12 3/4 into an improper fraction. 12 times 4 is 48, plus 3 is 51. So we have 51/4 divided by 3/5. And we're going to change the division to multiplication, flip the second fraction over. You may not notice that 51 is divisible by 3, but it is, so I am going to cross reduce. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 15 divided by 3 is 17. 17 times 5 is 85, and 4 times 1 is 4. 4 goes into 84 21 times. Sorry, 4 goes into 85 21 times. That's 84. That means we have one remainder. So 21 1/4 cups is how much I started with, or how much I had. Number 6, Miss Panchera used 3 1/8 gallons of gas driving to Connecticut last weekend. If this was 5/6 of the amount of gas in her car, how much did she have in her car before the trip? Okay, so we're going to take the amount that goes with the units, 3 1/8. And we're going to divide that by the part that it represents, 5/6. So 3/8 is the same as 25/8. We're going to divide that by the 5/6. Let's keep the first fraction how it is. We're going to change the division to multiplication and flip that fraction over. And let's go ahead and cross reduce. 5 goes into 5 once. 5 goes into 25 5 times. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 2 goes into 8 4 times. So now in our numerator we have 5 times 3, which is 15, and 4 times 1, which is 4. 4 goes into 15 3 times, that's 12. So that means we have 3 left over. Denominator stays the same. So she had 3 3/4 gallons beforehand. All right, number 7, Miss Romano made chocolate chip cookies last night. She used 2½ cups of chocolate chips in her recipe. If this is 2/3 of all of the chocolate chips she had, how many cups of chocolate chips did she start with? Excuse me. So we're going to take the amount that she used, that's 2½ cups, divide it by 2/3. We're going to change the 2½ into an improper fraction, that's 5/2. Excuse me. Change the division to multiplication and flip the second fraction over. We end up with 15/4. And that's the same as 3 3/4 cups.